Hi everyone, this is Gayle. Welcome to my live stream this week. Look, let me pull this down. Okay. I'm using a different platform tonight, so let me know what you think. Um, yeah, sorry, just blanked out there. I don't know if you're going to really notice anything on your side that's different from what we've been doing, but I've switched. And instead of using the StreamYard platform, I'm using YouTube's. And so hopefully this is going to go well. I have not used this portion of the platform before. So who knows how it's going to be. But I hope you guys are having a great night. Saturday night, 7 p.m. is when we do our usual live stream. Do it weekly, excuse me. And I want to give you a COVID update tonight on how I am. Everybody knows I'm an actual COVID patient. And I say actual COVID patient because some people look for videos specifically from people who are there or who have been there and done that. So that's why I say that. I have the Omicron variant, so I'll give you an update on that. Also, I have big news in the service dog department. I've been working on a future service dog, and I get to give you an update on that. Plus, we'll have our usual talk tonight. Now, first, let's go to the chat. I want to say hi to Gloria Accardo. She usually comes in on Saturday nights when she can. And so she says, ciao, everyone. It is me again here, only for a moment. And then a couple of minutes later, it looks like she wrote alla proxima. I'm not sure what that is, to be honest with you. I will have to look that up. But if you are here on the live stream, I want to invite you to come into the chat and be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Even if you're not part of the live stream, we would welcome you into our hashtag Be Bodacious Family. Now, our hashtag Be Bodacious means you're not going to let life get in the way of living. So that's kind of our motto here. Sometimes we do have to do some adjustments to just work around what life throws at us. And that's what I am doing right now, actually. So first, the COVID update. Nerd of the North is here. Hi, Nerd of the North. Thank you for coming in. I hope things are going well for you. Says, greetings from Norway. Wow. Wow. So thank you for stopping in. Like I said, hope things are going well for you. So my COVID update. I am so excited to be able to bring you some great news. And that is, you can probably tell, I sound a lot better. So I am not there yet, but I'm better. And so what does feeling better with COVID mean? At least for me in this part. Stellar Piper is here. So hi, Stellar Piper. Welcome. So I have the Omicron variant. I do want to express a little bit of frustration, okay? People keep trying to console me by telling me that the Omicron variant is usually short-term, short-lived. I've been told by several people, oh, you'll be over this in a week because you have the Omicron variant and it's easier to deal with that than any other COVID variant, certainly better than Delta variant or even the original COVID, or I guess we should say the first version of it, because we're on like 3.0 at this moment, at least in the US. So, yeah, people have been really, really nice and really supportive, but I've been dealing with this now since the 9th of December. And here it is, the 22nd of January. So Omicron is not really super easy for everybody to get over. I do have some health problems. Otherwise, I have asthma and, some other things. And so I don't know if this triggered asthma or what. But, like I said, I was dealing with this from the 9th of December. It is now the 22nd. So some of the things that have happened this week, which are signs that I'm moving forward, is, I was on oxygen and have had that at home for, since around the 12th, 13th of December. And I did a trial run on the not having the oxygen. And finally, I was able to get rid of those tanks this week. So the oxygen is gone. I am not on it anymore. My O2 sats, which is your oxygen saturation, those are supposed to be 95 and above. Mine are dropping a little bit below that, 92 and above, but I'm bouncing back more quickly. Whereas before, when I first got on oxygen, I was put on it at the hospital. And what happened was my oxygen level, they had me walk a little bit just for up and down the bed, 4 laps, not much at all. And so my oxygen level was dropping. And then I got to sit down. And what happened then is the O2 continued dropping. Well, now my O2 is bouncing back up. So my saturation, where it may drop to 92 now, still staying above the 80s portion. And then I sit down and it comes back on up in about a minute or two. So that is a very big deal. Now, I am having to keep this nearby. This is my inhaler. So it's a little closer now than what it was, but it's still forward. Also, more big news this week on progressing with my health is I was able to have my final visit with home health, and that happened this past week. So, right now, at least, I am not a home health patient anymore. So, double yay on that, because having home health is a help, but it's also a challenge in that they come on different days and different times because they have a whole schedule that they have to work people in. Well, my husband likes to be there when the home health gets there, and he can't always do that because we don't always know about the time. So, yeah, but they've been really nice. So somebody asked me earlier, what does home health do when they come out? And I'm going to be doing a video on that. But what home health did for me, and it's always different, okay, they would check my saturation, my blood pressure, my pulse, and where I was on steroids, my blood sugar skyrocketed. And we're talking about like up into, the mid 300s and up. So they always check that. Usually they listen to my breathing. If the nurse is coming out, it's almost like you're having a physical every time with the temperature, the pulse, the respirations. So they would check all that. If something was out of whack, they would tell me like what to do for that. And we never had to call the doctor, but we got close a time or two, but they were able to help me process through that. So, yeah, so that's what they did. But let's see, I've got my notes here. So the other thing, the other thing that they did, I had occupational therapy coming out. So occupational therapy, oh, thank you, Nerd of the North. I appreciate that. Nerd of the North says, I like your vest. So thank you. I really appreciate that. So occupational therapy, when they came out, they would work with me on balance. They would work with me on breathing, and helped me with techniques that would help me basically get more air in my lungs. So that was helpful. So that's where I am now with the COVID update. So big news there. Now, I do have to go to the doctor on Monday. What she's going to do, I have no idea. But hopefully, she won't put me back under home health or anything like that. Crossing fingers. So, okay, what are some of the problems I am still having with COVID? Well, I think that I've got several problems going on that are very frustrated about having COVID. And I don't know if these are specific to the Omicron virus, or I'm sorry, Omicron variant, or if it goes with any type of COVID. So if you all could fill me in on that, I know some of you have been there and done that as far as this virus. So if you've had the coronavirus, then definitely let me know. That way I don't feel like I'm out on a limb. Okay. But one of my things is my pulse rate is really high sometimes, like really, really, really high. Oh, the bee lady apiary is here. Hi, bee lady. Can't stay long. Wanted to know how you are doing and do you have COVID or Omicron? And she says, hello, chat. And she says she's had COVID twice so far. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah. She says she had no problem breathing, only a very high fever and very tired. Well, I can relate. My temperature got into the upper 102s at one point. I had to take Aleve and Tylenol to help bring it down. Plus, drinking lots of cold drinks, cold cloths, things like that. So, Bee Lady Apiary, it was or slash is the Omicron, which people keep telling me it's easier to get over Omicron than it is any other type of coronavirus. The problem is it's not quite working that way, not for me anyway. So anyway, some of my symptoms that I have that are still going on even after getting rid of the oxygen and home health final visit and things like that is my pulse rate has been really high. And I don't really understand that. Now, obviously, if I've just done my inhaler, I expect it to be high, but I don't expect it to be high like when I'm regular sleeping. And last night I woke up and my pulse rate was like 117. And that's really high for me. Hi, Iron Fire Horse. Welcome. How are you? So anyway, 117 this morning when I first woke up was really high, and I felt like I had just been like working out, because it was so high. And I got up, I took my regular like blood pressure medicine that I'm on now and stuff, and that seems to help. But then again, earlier today, it went back up. It was like 104, and the break line with home health, they started getting twitchy with it being over 100. So I don't know what the doc's going to say about that. But like even now, I'm just checking it. These smartwatches are wonderful. But even now, let's give it a minute. We'll let it do its thing. I'll go back to the chat for a minute. Bee Lady Apiary says, hubby and I have been taking vitamins and supplements since this entire thing began 2 years ago, and they think because our immune systems were top, we didn't have it that bad. That is awesome. We had been doing supplements, but bumped them up after catching this stuff. Okay, my pulse rate is, just sitting here talking to you all, it is 94, and I'm not sure. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay. But anyway, it's 94. So it's still pretty high. I still get short of breath, but this bad boy is taking care of it better than what it was. And I'm not getting out of breath as frequently, which is great. I am still, finally, I'm on a big outing right now where my church has gone to a youth rally. So I am here in a hotel room. Didn't get to go to the rally with them for obvious reasons, but we got to go to a museum today and a restaurant, which was really nice to get out and join those. And at the museum, where I would like to have been able to get out and walk around, pretty much had to stay in the wheelchair, and my husband got to push me around. So very few times in my life have I been glad to have a husband willing to, push me around, but I'll make the exception for the wheelchair. So, let's see. Iron Fire, I'm going back to the chat. Iron Fire Horse is saying that, let me back up. Okay, Bee Lady Apiary says, plus we both treat active working around the farm, and exercise is great for the immune system also. Yeah. Iron Firehorse says she's still stuffed up a bit and tired, but hasn't gotten any worse, she doesn't think. Bee Lady Apiary says she's used doTERRA Breathe Essential Oil for being stuffed up. It's worked better than Vicks or anything. Iron Firehorse says she doesn't have any gadgets to monitor herself, and she says she's been getting out of breath. I understand that. There is, I know you're in Canada, but I was able to find a oxygen saturation meter pretty inexpensively on Amazon. And in the last COVID update that I did a little shorts on how to use a pulse oximeter to check the oxygen level, and there's a link in that where you can order one. It might be worth looking on Amazon from Canada to see if they have one, because I got mine. It's on a promo for like $15. That particular model isn't on promo right now, but I'm sure there's others, so that might help. Let's see. Bee Lady Apiary says, wow, I remember those inhalers. I had to take Advair steroid inhalers 2 times a day, plus that one you have as a rescue inhaler. I was even in the hospital, but local organic honey solved all of that. Yeah, that can really help. I was on another inhaler too, and I've got the breathing treatments that I can fall back on too. So it really helps. And some of the other things that I'm doing, if I seem to be like struggling for words or something, I got 2 things going on there. One is I have a head injury, which I've dealt with for years, but I'm also having some problems with COVID fog. And it's like I can feel my brain slowing down, and that's very frustrating. I'll have days when everything is fine, and I'll have days where it's like my brain is trying to process through a swimming pool. It's just really difficult and hard. So COVID fog, is what some people are calling it. And oh my gosh, I have been plagued with that since the get go. So, yeah. So I think that's possibly one of that and the oxygen are both kind of almost equal. And at first, I was blaming the oxygen for some of the COVID fog because anybody's had asthma, y'all know what I'm saying is when your oxygen level is low, you start having problems thinking and processing. And it's just because you're not getting enough air into your body for it to do everything it needs to do. So, yeah, the brain fog, and I'm still having problems with aches. I'm still having problems with exhaustion in general. And like we were out earlier and did the museum, which was awesome, and went to lunch, and I came back and I was like so tired, and I'm really tired now. So, and the exhaustion some days is better than others, and I don't know why it's better than others. So, anybody got any insights on this or how to deal with it? Like put it in the chat or drop it down in the comments because that's helpful. So I'm going to go on over here. Let's see, back to the chat there. B Lady Apiary was talking about her inhalers. Jelsa says, Iron Fire Horse, sorry, being out of breath is not a good thing. I agree. And Iron saying she has to stay away from the essential oils because of her allergies. B Lady Apiary says, do you have anxiety? I once had to go to the emergency room because my anxiety shortened my breath, and then my short breath shot up my anxiety. They told me it's a vicious cycle. I'm not usually bothered by anxiety too much. Once in a while, like, I don't know, once or twice a year, I'll have a problem with anxiety. But as a general rule, no. But what I did find, though, is when I was having the most problems getting my breath, I was having some anxiety issues. And one thing that I've done, which has really, really helped, is to focus on my pulse oximeter. When I felt myself like starting to get short of breath and I was nervous and about that, I would just go ahead and even like now, put my finger in the pulse ox, and then I can stare at that number. And by staring at that number, then I know everything's fine. If it's like 95 and above, I don't have to worry about it. And so that's reassuring. But the big thing is, also trying to figure out what's going on with my pulse. So it can be a little frustrating. But the pulse ox has been great to help keep me focused on what the realistic numbers are. Okay. Let's see. Okay, going back to the chat. Iron Fire Horse, sorry it didn't work for you. She says that she's maxed financially. She's been paying to go to the city, and for my epidurals, none of my meds are covered, so it's been kind of unmanageable. I am so sorry to hear that. I've talked about before about like where we are financially, and it is like it's really scary because I met my out of pocket last year, and now granted, I had a partial mastectomy and some other things happened, but here's the thing. My COVID bills alone would have put me onto the $6,000 out of pocket. Plus, my husband's had an ER bill. It looks like that's all going to his deductible, which is another $3,000. And I have most of the way to having the deductible for this year, which is another $3K. So totally get that. But I hope you can find your way through, because it's not a good situation to be in. Let's see. The lady apiary says, you might be surprised how much anxiety is linked to breathing and O2. Yeah, it is definitely linked. And that's why staring at the pulse oximeter has been really helpful for me especially when my O2 was the lowest. So, yeah. Also, some of the breathing techniques that occupational therapy with home health went over with me, those have been helpful too, because it doesn't always help, but kind of like it helps in general, like the rest of the time, if that makes any sense. And a lot of it was just deep breath, putting your hands on your abdomen and on your chest, and how to breathe, and being intentional about how to breathe. So, yeah, some yoga breathing techniques too they tossed in. So it's been nice. Let's see. Going back to the chat, Iron Firehorse says, yes, low oxygen definitely does that. Okay, and she's also got severe sciatica too going on, which I hate. I hope I cannot talk tonight. Are the things you're having to go get done, are those helping at all? Oh, look, we have Annie, Janie, and friends. Hi, how are you? I hope things are going well. And let's see what else we got. Let's see. Iron Fire Horse, I have to look that up. Sorry, no idea what it is. It's a nerve issue. And let's see. Going back down. Bee Lady Apiary is saying she used to have anxiety big time, but once she began exercising a ton, it tampered down. And she says doggy want to go out, and she hopes to be back. I hope you get to come back too. I think everybody in the chat right now are dog and animal fans. So we all understand that. And I've got an update on where I am with my service dog in just a few minutes. Let's see. Going back to that, Bee Lady Apiary says she hopes to be back. Iron says, I don't get anxiety often, only when something anxiety provoking is happening. Not being able to breathe is one of those things. Yeah, and Stellar says it is for sure, Iron. I agree, because I mean, when you have problems breathing, it spirals. It's frustrating. So she says that she's been using breathing exercises for childbirth to deal with the pain. Wow, that's probably a good idea. Had not even thought about that. But that's a good that would be a great tip. And Iron says the epidural only took a little bit of the edge off. I can lay down more comfortably, kind of. Well, I'm glad it helped some, at least. I'm sorry it didn't help all the way. I hate to hear that, but I'm glad to hear you're a little better. And she says, if you can breathe, you've done so. Yes, scary. LOL. Yikes. Yeah. I read somewhere a few years ago that having an asthma attack is like running really hard and really fast and then trying to breathe through a straw. And that always stuck with me. Now, I'm not going to say that dealing with the COVID has been like that, but at times it was pretty close. So, and then she says, even that little bit of relief was worth it. Good. I'm really glad you got some relief there, because it's nerve pain is not good to deal with. Very, very difficult. So, okay. And the other two things, going back, I'm so glad I have notes. But the other two things going back are the brain fog, which I've mentioned that already. Sorry. The exhaustion we talked about, but just general like body aches. Like I don't have a temperature, but I still have aches in my legs, aches in my back that I'm still dealing with. And this is what, 6-7 weeks out from when I was diagnosed. So I'm hopeful that the doctor is going to have some words of wisdom for me on Monday. But still better. I'm having really big headaches too. Has anybody else that's had the coronavirus had headaches? Specifically, if you've had long COVID, like what have you all been through? Iron says she's hoping for another one on Tuesday in case it helps a little more. I'm kind of desperate. She's going for some things to help her sciatic nerve. For those of you who tune in just now or later, so I hope it helps for you, because, like, I've had nerve pain before and it is horrific, absolutely horrific. So I'm going to cross my fingers for you and pray for you that that's going to get better. So definitely. So yeah, being desperate with a medical issue is just not a good place to be. So, oh, and I want to remind you all, if you catch this either now or on the live stream, please give me a like on the video, because that helps me out with those mean old YouTube algorithms. Okay. And Iron says that her muscles and joints have been sore on and off, and yet she's had a headache a few times, and I don't get headaches often at all. I don't either, normally. But then dealing with this stuff is not normal. Oh gosh. I think somebody just got pulled over. Yeah. I can see the blue lights through the window over here. So somebody is having a rough night, or at least a rough moment. I don't know if you guys heard that siren or not, so sorry. And something else I've noticed too, my eyes, I am not seeing as well. I'm definitely seeing differently. So I'm going to go have that checked I think I'm scheduled for like the first couple of days of February. I'll have to go double check it. It's between now and my booster shot. So it's got to be the first few days. So now that's as long as it doesn't snow. If we get a 5-inch snowfall like we had the other day, I'm not going anywhere. So, we'll have to see. But yeah, those are the things that I've noticed. And the eyesight issue may be playing in with the headaches. I don't know. And I'm still on like some nose sprays and stuff like that. And I've also noticed, and I said something to home health the other day, and I kind of feel like they minimized it a little bit. And that is, all my joints hurt sometimes. It's like they ache all the time a little bit, but sometimes they just hurt quite a bit. So that didn't happen before getting sick either. So I don't know what's coming on with that. I'm asking, anybody dealt with joint pain? Because like my feet, my knees, my elbows, my hands, it's like all my joints. And let's see. She said, Irene's saying Headache was right in my forehead and came on quick and left suddenly when it did. Now, mine is coming and it seems to be starting like right in behind my eyes and my cheeks and stuff. So I first thought it was sinus related, but that's not really helpful. That's not the sinus stuff isn't helping that. Um, and it doesn't want to go away. Like I can take a nap and that will help, but it's not like 24/7 either. None of this. I mean, it's all like sporadic. Like like I said, I'll be fine for a little while and then bam, it's a headache. Now my joints are hurting most of the time and my muscles are hurting most of the time. And I don't know on that, like which came first. Was it the chicken or the egg? So yeah. Thank you. B Lady Apiary says you look so much better than a while ago. You must be doing something right. I appreciate that. I feel a lot better, but I also have a long way to go. But I'm concentrating and reminding myself that I am better. So, and doing the videos, the COVID updates has been really, really good for that because I can go back and look at the other videos. And I've got a playlist. I'm going to link that down below in the description box. But in that playlist, you can see like I looked really, really bad sometimes. And there's one about like my morning routine with COVID, and I'm holding my nebulizer, and I look lost, and I really felt that way because brain fog was really bad. So, but thank you. And Iron is saying that she takes maximum doses of acetaminophen and ibuprofen and some narcotics too. It surprised me to get the headaches like I did. Yeah, I was doing Aleve and Tylenol and still do sometimes, but the headaches are really frustrating because I think sometimes the headaches with me anyway are going with the brain fog. I've noticed that. The other thing is, I'm already on seizure medication because I have epilepsy, and that seizure medication, I was looking up the other day about COVID headaches, and that seizure medicine is something that's also given to help with COVID headaches. I read at least in one place. So, of course, you never know what you're reading on the internet if that's true or not, but that's what it said. So let's see. Now I don't do narcotics. Narcotics and I just do not get along. In fact, some of them, there was one, I can't think of the name of it, but it actually started me seeing seizure auras. And that was kind of scary. And after that, I'm just like, I'm done. Don't give me any more narcotics unless it's something that I really have to take them for, like after having the surgery in October. So, yeah. B Lady is saying everyone says there are after effects of COVID and they vary from person to person. Okay. I didn't really realize about how that was. I okay, I think I remember hearing that they can vary, but I was hoping there was some commonality. Okay. B Lady says be sure to write it down in a notebook of all the items you're dealing with so you have a record of them. This COVID does not leave folks like they were before. Okay. I do. One thing I'm having to do now, like I'm carrying a notebook with me. I didn't used to do that. So the only time that I would have a notebook with me is like on vacation so I could jot notes down. So especially if I was doing like a YouTube video. And I found myself like on this trip, it's been like, oh my gosh, because I used to have this set pattern and it was just like an automatic kind of thing where I would go to a restaurant and I'd get footage of driving up to the restaurant, and I'd get footage going in and about serving and what the food's like. And I can't even remember to take my phone out of my pocket half the time to take a video, much less taking a camcorder. So it's like all of that process is like out the window. Um, and I think it's because of some of the COVID fog. But I used to have that, you know, that I don't want to say down pat because I would sometimes forget things, but I was more together with it. And it's like now I'm not. So, you know, and I thought, with this trip, it would be a great way to get back in the swing of things. And I had planned to do a couple of little videos. And no, like the hotel room, I was planning to do a video in here. Totally forgot. Like I could do it now, but the room's a wreck. So, and one thing about hotels now is they're not doing daily room service. So, yeah, it's going to stay a wreck. Anyway, so yeah, I am writing that down and lots of other things. But good tip. Going back to the chat, B Lady says she saw one man somewhere on YouTube who was struggling to walk after having COVID. Oh, wow. That's scary. That's real scary. Because I have trouble walking anyway, just because of the foot drop issue. So if I was having trouble and it was worse, I don't know. Wow. That would be really scary for me. And then she says, iron, fire horse. What about plain aspirin? Do you think that might be better? And then she says, or do you think it might be sinus? And Irene says, no, B Lady. And B Lady says, I am also on seizure medicines, but for a neuralgia, it always hits my head so bad. They said epilepsy meds are the only thing to stop the attacks. I'm really hoping that this does help with headaches, and then maybe they can just adjust my dosage. But pre-COVID, I didn't have a problem with headaches. And let's see. B Lady says, are you still getting headaches? Oh, hey, Thomas. Welcome. How are you? And we have Thomas Ide, who is, what's that, from Scotland. So, hi, welcome. I hope things are going great in Scotland. I know you're up late. Because I know it's 7:45 here. Thomas said, what are you talking about, guys? We're talking right now about COVID and then dealing with that and like dealing with the aftermath. Although I don't know if we want to call mine aftermath or not, because I'm classified as a long hauler or a long patient or long COVID, however you want to call it. And B Lady says, I had mental fog before I had COVID. Thank goodness it didn't make it worse. Mine came from our raising 3 children and one of them a girl. Oh, God bless you. Bless you. I think there's a lot of parents out there who would agree. And B Lady says, it's scary. I couldn't believe it did that much to him. So many folks have these really bad after effects. Good thing you are jotting down all your symptoms. I'm trying to, what I'm trying to do is I go see the doctor on Monday. So I feel like the more information I can give her, the more we can figure out about like going through this. And my husband's going with me. So he can help me remember and he can like keep me with time, And Irene says, yes, that's why I answered Gayle's questions about joint pain and headache with Omicron. B Lady says, why are you keeping track of your pulse? How will that help you? I don't I just want to know, like, why is it going up? Like, why would I sit down for a little while and my pulse be fine, like in the 80s, and then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes later, I'm just watching TV or something, and in a little while, it's like 117. You know, I want to know what's going on there. So, and Thomas says, I had my second injection for COVID. My fingernails went blue, had a panic attack and bad breathing, and now they want me to take the third injection, but I have refused. Yeah, when you have something like that happen, it's really hard to decide what to do, but I can't say as I blame you. I didn't have any reactions with my shots, but you never know. And B Lady says, Irene at Iron Fire Horse. So, like I mentioned above, so many folks are not in the same condition. I think that might be the worst of having it. Yeah, the more I talk to you guys and the more I read online, the more I'm realizing that some of this may be around for a while as far as my symptoms. And I really don't want that to happen because I want to be, y'all know I like to travel. I don't believe in staying home if I don't have to. I've driven to Alaska a few times, and with this COVID fog, doing something like that would be, I would still be willing to do it if the opportunity arose, but it would be a lot harder. So let me get back. Iron Firehorse says, yeah, it's ongoing with long haulers. Okay. And B Lady saying, Thomas, wow, that would scare the shoes off of me. How long were your fingernails blue? Yeah, I hope not long. But you'll have to fill us in with that, Thomas. And yeah, Irene says lots of people will never be the same, kids included. It ticks me off when people only use death stats and say it's not a big deal. Me too. I was fussing about that a little while ago, about how everybody says, "Oh, well, your variant that you've got is like so easy to get over compared to like the Delta variant and the original coronavirus that you won't have to worry and you'll be fine in a week." And I'm like, it's been going on since December 9th, not exactly fine in a week. And then, like, they just look at me, they don't know what to say. So, let's see. A racing pulse is not good. Have you had any previous heart issues? No, none. So, but the doctor did put me on baby aspirin, just because she said that some people have issues. So she put me on that, as a blood clot preventative, just in case, something was to start to develop, that would nip it in the bud. So, yeah, but no heart issues. Thomas says it's getting ridiculous. We will all be on our 10th injection. Yeah, isn't that the truth? And Iron Firehorse says, I've seen people have panic attacks like that without anything happening. I would actually be, I'm not, like I said, I'm not prone to anxiety. I'm not prone to panic attacks and stuff like that. But I would be willing more so to blame that on a panic attack had I not awakened in the middle of the night, with my pulse racing. Um, when it wakes you up and you're not doing anything but sleeping and you don't feel like you've had a nightmare. Yeah. Or when you're just sitting there and you're watching a video, your pulse shouldn't shoot up like that. So, yeah, I'm anxious to hear what the doc has to say. Oh gosh, Thomas, Thomas is saying that his nails were blue for 10 minutes. That would be so scary. Yeah. And B Lady says, unfortunately, folks who are asymptomatic and never had the symptoms are having similar issues. Once it's in your system at any level, it has the potential to change your body. And then Thomas said his nails were blue for 10 minutes. This is after he had a vaccine, and said, I actually thought I was dying. My wife thought I was dying. She was going to phone an ambulance. That would be reasonable. B Lady says, did you ask the folks where you got the shots? Oh, that's B Lady talking to Thomas. Okay. And B Lady says, before the COVID, I got a typical flu shot and was sick for 2 weeks and had to take steroids to be well. But still, scary stuff there. I went ahead and got a flu shot this year too, and am hoping I don't catch the flu on top of trying to deal with this. But there again, it's like COVID. It's like they don't guarantee you're not going to get the flu. They just guarantee that it'll help. And it's just like with COVID. It's supposed to help you get over it quicker if you do have the flu, if it doesn't prevent you from having it. And so it's like, that's what we're hearing about the COVID vaccines. You get the vaccine and it's supposed to help you feel better. It's supposed to shorten the process if you catch it. So in this Omicron, it just like totally circumvented, I guess you could say, the vaccine that I had. But also, I will say that I had not gotten the booster yet, because some of you guys, if you're just joining us in the chat, that may be on your mind. I was boosted in January of last year, not boosted. My first shot was January of last year. My second shot was the first week of February last year. And so I got sick the 9th of December, which put my shot being kind of close to a year old. We had gone on vacation and had planned to get the shot on my husband's day off after we got back. But my husband came down with it on Thursday night, the day before he was off from work. So that took care of getting the booster, because we knew I was exposed. Because if he got sick, I had been with him, and somebody described that to me as a COVID crock pot, and reminded me I didn't have like a one-off exposure, but I was there with him before he got sick and while he was sick. So yeah, I was diagnosed a week after he was. So I didn't have a chance to get my booster. But that's coming this February. Let's see. Going back. Let's see. B Lady says, okay, before she got the COVID, a typical flu shot, and was sick 2 weeks. Okay. Thomas says, well, apparently they said that's normal. Wow. I can't imagine having the vaccine and having my nails turn blue for 10 minutes and being told it was normal. Oh, my stars. I would have to get another opinion on that one. Wow. B Lady says, Thomas, I'm beginning to wonder if different countries are getting the same shot. Something to wonder about. No, I don't think they are. At least other countries have some shots that are available that are not available here. Like, for example, the Novavax that I took under a clinical trial. The World Health Organization has approved it. It's available in some other countries now, but like the USA has not gotten around to approving it yet. So I don't know what all's going on there. So at least there's some variety, but I do wonder if certain manufacturers kind of manufacture things a little different, even though they're not supposed to. Iron says, baby aspirin is a good idea, probably in your case, lots of clotting issues with COVID. And B lady says, normal, good Lord. And she's talking to Thomas. And Thomas says, me and my partner got our injection at the same time. She was fine. I was fine until I got back from work, went to bed. It felt like my body was shutting down. Wow, super scary. I hope your partner was able to be calm. I don't know if I could have been. And B lady says the way she sees it, our bodies change if we get the shot, and also if we just have COVID without the shot, or with the shot. I think our entire population will never be normal again. I kind of wonder that too. But then I go back and I look and I think about like the folks who had the Spanish flu and things like that. I know, like in my grandmother's lifetime, for example, she had to deal with Spanish flu. She had to deal with some other things that went around. My dad had polio, so she had to deal with that kind of stuff. And then we were like relatively stable for a few years with antibiotics and medical advancements. And now I'm kind of like, what's normal? Like in my mind, I'm thinking, is normal dealing with things like COVID and we just got lucky for a few decades? Or is normal the kind of peaceful period, medically peaceful period that we had for a few decades? Is that atypical? Like, my mind is wondering this. Let's see. And Irina's saying, I called an ambulance for the people I was talking about, but it was just anxiety disorder. They said that was before the pandemic. Just anxiety disorder. That's still pretty big. Thomas says, apparently I'm selfish because I've refused my third shot, so a lot of pressure is on me, if that makes sense. Thomas, you got to decide for yourself. You got to talk to your doctors and make the best decision that you can. And for some people, it's the best decision, and for some people, it's not. B lady's asking, are they offering the flu shot where they give the COVID shot where you are? That's a big thing. I don't even know, honestly. I have my flu shot at the doctor's office. So, they could watch me in case I had a reaction. So I don't know if they're even offering the flu shot at the same place or in tandem. Iron's saying the attitudes of people will never be the same. I kind of agree with that. And B lady's saying, our daughter has always had panic attacks her entire life, no apparent cause. Maybe some people are just prone to them. That could be too. That could be. Thomas says, can I just say I love this channel? I'm new, love it. Keep up the great work. Hope you're all on all the time. I am here on Saturdays at 7 p.m., except for like rare occasions for like holidays, like Christmas, New Year's. We switched it over to Sundays. But that's pretty much the only time that we shift, unless I get sick with something, and can't help it, like COVID. But thank you for all your kind words. And let's see, B lady says, if you take into consideration they locked down the entire world, tons of folks died, including our father, who we couldn't even visit in the hospital and supplies were low. Yeah, it got kind of crazy. I really hope we don't ever have to do anything like this again, as I'm sure you all hope that too. Hey, we have adventures and bass fishing with TK Heaven. How are you? It is good to see you, TK. And let's see. Says, good evening, listening as I drive home from work and red light commenting and, of course, smashing the like button. Thank you for that. And that's a reminder, too, for me to remind everybody, please, if you haven't already done so, click the like button. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. And it's not always about COVID. We do lots of other things. I do a lot of travel. My brain just shut down. I do a lot of travel videos and some product reviews and so forth. So do come check me out and subscribe. And Be Lady also says, I'm not expecting society in any country to be normal again for maybe 2 decades. Stellar says, Thomas, Saturday night. Okay. Welcome, TK. And Be Lady says, we have to wear our masks in schools and churches, etc. Our expressions are cut off. Hand sanitizer, rubber gloves, etc. How can any person on this planet be normal? That's a good point. Let's see. Iron Firehorse says, I think we're lucky to be in countries that have the vax and lockdowns, etc. I hate to imagine what would have happened if they didn't. Adventures is saying hello. And that is one thing. My state, the state of Tennessee, never locked down. We had some counties that locked down, and there were like some recommendations from our governor to, quote, do the right thing. They did have to do some things with like schools going online and college going online for their classes, but yeah, we didn't lock down. I think my governor was not really thinking well on that because other states had I don't want to say easier time, but they had lower COVID rates than Tennessee did. Let's see. Okay, Thomas says, can I ask a stupid question? Okay, first, there is no stupid questions, not on this channel anyway. And then said, is America the same as the UK? They want you to get loads of injections. 3 so far is what they've suggested. The 2 series and then a booster. Unless you took, I think, a Johnson & Johnson, which is designed to be a one-shot deal. But for the most part, it's like 2 shots and then the booster. Hey, Peter Parker's here. Hi, Peter. And Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man the Hero, says you can still get COVID-19 again even after you got COVID-19 or the booster shots. Mintlot died from COVID-19. Yeah. Somebody was just telling me about a guy that they know and who's apparently been on the news that has gotten COVID 3 times. And I'm like, please, please, please don't let that happen to me and quit happening to other people. The lady says, one thing for sure, she saved money on lipstick, never wear it anymore. Yep. I bet a lot of women's makeup bills went down. I know I don't wear as much of it because it's all going to land in the mask. The lady says now they're developing a pill. Stellar Piper says, what did you say, Stellar? Oh, B Lady, one other good thing about mask, it keeps my nose warm in the winter. There you go. That is looking on the bright side. Definitely. Excuse me. Definitely on the bright side. Okay. Excuse me there. Let me see. What else? After Stellar. Oh, Thomas says, is medical care free in America? Oh, we could only wish. Oh, wow. We could only wish. Right now, I was telling somebody earlier, right now I've met my $6,000 out of pocket with the insurance for last year. My husband has this $3,000 deductible net. So just last year, we're into this about $9,000. And I already have my deductible of $3,000 mostly met for this year. So that's another $3,000 that I have to pay out. And it's only like the 22nd of January. So I wish it was free, but it is not. let's see. After this, B Lady says, unfortunately, no guarantees you won't get it again. Yep. TK says, stellar, great point. Iron says she's working in the kitchen, so listening, but not in the chat. Thank you, Iron. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for hanging out and being willing to listen to the rest of the live stream. Stellar says, all right, y'all, have to go pay for dinner. Have a good night, everyone. Okay, Stellar, have a good dinner. Thomas says, Stellar Piper, it's free in the UK. That must be hard for Americans. It's ridiculous. People must struggle to pay medical bills. Oh, Thomas, pet peeve for me. Pet peeve. And B Lady says, Thomas, where I am, yes, our state has free health care for all in the form of Medicaid. We only have that if you are poverty level. If you're in poverty, then you can apply for Medicaid unless you have insurance from your employer. Now, if you have insurance through your employer, even if you have to pay for it, it's my understanding you are not eligible for Medicaid. But even the insurance payments are stupidly expensive. And B Lady says that's another thing. Each state has different rules. Our state locked down everything. We had a high death rate. We had a high rate too. Our governor just was like, we're not going to lock down. And that made it really, really hard. Like when we went out of town to New Mexico, for example, we went through, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and then Texas, and then we went another way. That was coming back. We had to go another way going out, and we went through, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, then into Texas, and then in New Mexico. And everybody's rules were different. And you didn't know, like, did you have to mask? Did you not? And we wore our masks the whole time. But some places where we went, we got strange looks. And then we would ask and find out there was not a mask mandate. So, and then some restaurants and businesses would require masks and some don't. So, yeah, it's tough. Because you just never know. Hey, hi, busy lady. How are you, busy? I mean, I know you're busy, but how are you otherwise? B Lady Apiary says, now I have to find some spray to make my glasses anti-fog. Now, somebody told me, and I have not tried this yet, but somebody told me that if you use shaving cream on your glasses, that they don't fog. I don't know. What I have found out is that some masks are better at not having fog on your glasses than others. Like I made some and they cover up on up here, like to the top of my nose. And so I can actually put my glasses on top of the mask and they don't fog as much. But, I had to make my own to get that. TK says, I've been following along on your unfortunate COVID. I'm glad you're doing better. Been a rough month here. Son got it for the second time. Wife got them. Then my 8-year-old daughter got it. How are you all doing now? I am so sorry that she got it the second time. Has the second time been easier on her than the first time? And let's see, B Lady says, at our church, an entire family just got it again, and they have all been vaccinated, including the children. Okay. And she says, not here. We have the highest tax rate in the country, so we pay for all. That would be helpful. Like I would rather pay a higher tax rate than to pay the $9,000 we're into it last year because of COVID and the almost 3K I'm already into this for this year. And it's just the 22nd. So, and let's see, a concerned world citizen. Hi. Welcome. And says, yikes, no health care, third world. It's a sign of an underdeveloped country for sure. Wouldn't live in the USA if there was no alternative. War zones are more suitable places to live than some US states. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that, because I think that our healthcare definitely has issues, but wow. I don't know about war zones though. B Lady says, which mask do you prefer? Cloth, the regular blue ones, or N95? I use cloth, and I've used cloth since the get-go. But my cloth masks are 3 layers, and they're tightly woven. So I personally, when I'm wearing the mask, and I don't know if it's because they're 3 layers or what, but when I'm wearing it, I can't tell a difference between wearing that and wearing the blue surgical mask. I'm going to test those a little bit more though. The N95, I've had to wear those a couple of times, like the whole van life thing where we're redoing our van. I've had to wear the N95s for that, like dealing with the insulation and stuff. And they're obviously super heavy, but I had some problems breathing through that and had a hard time. So I think for me, I'm going to probably stick with a cloth mask, but when we get back home, I'm going to test the cloth mask. I've done a couple of tests before, but I didn't have the cloth mask at the time. But over on my channel, in with the videos, I've got a couple where I have tested like the mask that the state of Tennessee put out at first, which was a joke. I poured water in it and I held it up and the water just ran through. It was awful. I tested that and I tested the surgical mask. So now I'm going to go back and test the cloth again and test it with the surgical mask and see how much difference there is. But like I said, it's 3 layers, not 2. Adventures with TK says that sad bee lady. I got it last year, a month after being vaccinated. My family is all vaccinated except my 8-year-old. Yeah, I've been vaccinated too. Busy. I am sorry. Please tell me you do not have the COVID crud. I hate for you to be sick at all, but please tell me you don't have the COVID crud. How are you feeling, Gayle? Are you at a hotel? Yes, I am at a hotel. This is my major outing. We're here with our youth from church going on a youth rally, which of course I am not at the rally. I am here in the hotel, obviously. I did get to go to a museum today and a restaurant. So, woo! My husband got to push me around in the wheelchair. So I'm saying that I never wanted a husband that would push me around before, but we'll make an exception for the wheelchair. And then I got to go to a restaurant. And as long as I keep this kind of handy, I'm kind of making it. So, but I got rid of the oxygen this past week, so that is totally gone. And my healthcare days are home health care days ended, so I don't have home health anymore. But I see the doctor on Monday, so we get to enjoy the good news of getting better. But I still have a long way to go before I'm well and over this. And like I said, I've been dealing with it for weeks now. So, let's see. Peter Parker says, tip, wear 3 cloth masks at the time. You could probably do that. I just went ahead and made mine 3 layers. B Lady says, a concerned world citizen in our country. Each state has different rules. Our state pays the highest rate of taxes, but offer free living. So that's cool. Yeah, thank you, TJ Bell Designs, and welcome to the chat tonight. I appreciate it. I am feeling much better, but still not there yet, but getting better. Iron says foggy glasses means the mask isn't fitting right. Hey, was studying in for foggy glasses things too. TK says the second time for him was actually worse for him. Oh, I hate to hear that. I hope he's okay, like long term. B-Lady says we took a long plane journey this past summer, and they don't allow masks with a round vent on the side of them. I wonder why. I mean, it's like, I just would like to know, like, what's the rationality behind some of these? So, they're never going to tell us, right? B-Lady says, whichever mask I use, I always use the silicone insert so it's not hugging my nose and mouth. Mine hugs pretty well. Let's see. B-Lady says, whichever mask I use, I always use the silicone. Oh, no. Sorry. B-Lady says she always uses the silicone. Busy Lady says, I don't know if it is. I haven't left the house, did a telehealth doc appointment, and got a Z-Pack. Hopefully that Z-Pack will help. Now, my doctors didn't want to prescribe antibiotics, even when I had like all the junk in my chest, which I had for a few days, because they were like, this is viral and the antibiotics wouldn't help. But I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people who had antibiotics and they did help. Thomas says, another silly question, looking at your door in the background, there is no door handle. How do you get out if the door is closed? LOL. This is actually, we are in a joint connecting room with some other part of our group. So yeah, with that, you just use the lock thing, the latch, to open the door with. But don't worry, there's a door handle on the main door and a door handle on the patio door here. Excuse me. Thank you, Busy. See, how long have you been in your home? Hope you feel better soon. TK says, get well soon. Busy says, been over a week now. Just went to the store drive-through. Busy says, Thomas, I see a doorknob. That's actually the latch for the door. B-Lady says, I thought you had, after you had COVID, you'd built up antibodies and were immune to it. No, like I said, or I think I said, my home health worker knows somebody, like personally, not even on the job, and he's been on the news, and he's caught COVID 3 times now. Let's see. Irene says, when was your last live stream, Gayle? I can't remember when I first started symptoms. I already was when I was at your last live stream. A week ago, I was on live. And then before that, I had to toss in some premieres just because I couldn't breathe. And like I had no air in my lungs. I just could not talk and breathe and everything at the same time. B-Lady says the Z-Packs seem to work for almost everything, and Busy is saying they're great. How many folks are on your trip? I bet it's a nice time. We have a small group. We're a total of like 8 people here, 6 or 8 people. I'd have to stop and count again. But yeah, and they're a good group. We've got some other parents on, and yeah, it's been a good time. So, and Iron says, I got to get back in the kitchen again. Take care and be well, Gayle, and everybody. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. It is good to talk to you again. And then TK says, okay, you all just got home. Going to spend time with the family. Everyone stay safe. Much love to all. Good deal. You have a great time with your family, too. I hope you have a good, relaxing evening. And stay well. B Lady says, I thought I heard Fauci say that. I will check again. Okay. Then she says, Iron, take care. And then Fishing with TK, you too, stay safe. Mr. Man, hi, welcome. And Mr. Man says, ma'am, read my saying. Nope, not going to do that. Adventure says, thank you. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's where I am. That's my COVID update. And like I said, thank you, Busy, for doing that. But like I said, anybody got any suggestions for like dealing with this or the long symptoms of like brain fog and so forth, let me know. If you hear this later, drop them down in the comments because I am up for any ideas on dealing with some of this stuff. If you've had the same symptoms, like the racing pulse and stuff, do let me know that. Yeah, I don't know. B Lady says, I'd like to know if anyone has done a study on how much this COVID is spread at shopping stores, like markets and Walmarts, church, etc. But maybe that would be too complicated. Yeah, I don't know. It would be really interesting. I did talk to a nurse once earlier on, and she was telling me that they suspected the subway system in New York had helped spread the COVID because, this was early on when it was like exploding and people weren't really, doing masks yet. And she was saying that there was thought that being on the subway, because I don't know if everyone here is familiar with the subway, but it's kind of like, in some ways, there are city buses where you have some poles to hang on to or straps to hold on to, in addition to all of the seats and getting up and down and stuff. So there's a lot of things to put your hands on. Plus the air is kind of enclosed. So that's what she was saying, that they were looking at the subway as a possibility for the explosion of COVID up there. So, okay. Busy says, I'm so over this, LOL. It's like they want us all to stay home. Yeah, I think in some places it's like that. Like here, nobody cares because like there's no mandates. So I can't say that they want us to stay home here, but I don't know. Oh, hey, Buzza. How are you? I saw that you posted a video, but I have not had a chance to go look at that yet, but I am hoping to. And B Lady says she can believe the subway system spread it. Those folks are packed in like sardines. Yeah, they are. As she says that subways are a place for rubber gloves. Yeah, I haven't done the gloves except very early on with the shopping carts in the store, but then we were able to get hand sanitizer again, so I stopped wearing the gloves. But I was using cloth gloves anyway because the rubber gloves, the latex breaks me out. Thank you, Bessa. I will get to it as soon as I can. I am like just now kind of getting back into the swing of things, and even that not fully. Let's see. B Lady says, honestly, I doubt they know what they want. Have you heard Fauci's latest news? If Omicron has no more variants, the pandemic is over. Also, the leaders in the UK have said the same thing. No, I have not heard that. Now, I did talk to one of the folks, like when I was having the monoclonal antibodies, and he said that the thought was there would be like at some point we were going to get beyond like the major waves of COVID, but that it was going to settle down eventually, and that it would still be with us, but we would have like pockets popping up, just kind of like we have pockets of flu, like we're in the U.S. The flu is worse than others. But we still have places where some diseases are out there that we thought were extinct. So I don't know. B-Lady says, yep, straight from Fauci's mouth. He is thinking springtime is when it is all over. That will be wonderful. I think the whole world will agree that will be wonderful. So I'm going to have to go look that up. Yeah, because that'll be awesome. Fauci says by spring it'll be over. Yeah, that's wonderful. Because I don't think I think with everybody in the world we will be jumping for joy when that happens. But I didn't hear that. I'm going to go look it up later tonight because that would be very encouraging. Busy says praying that happens. Me too. Oh, and Fauci says by spring it'll be just like the flu. Okay. So that kind of matches what they told me when I had the monoclonal antibodies. I know for me, the really big thing that made me super happy was when I was told I was not contagious anymore. And that was like happy day, big rejoicing. I felt like having a huge party. And B-Lady says, me too, it was all over the news. Yeah, I'm really still kind of far behind on some things. Yeah, so I'm getting caught up. So, okay, so it's 8:30. Let me go ahead and give you guys my service dog update. Okay, B-Ladies, I'll answer this. B-Lady says, what are the monochrome or whatever antibodies? Where do they get them from? Okay, I don't remember where they get them from. I did know. I had to sign like a 5-page release. Hold on. I do not remember where they get them from. But the monoclonal, I'm going to type it in. It's monoclonal antibodies. And so they are, did I spell that right? Yeah. They are designed so that if you get sick, they're designed to keep people out of the hospital. They're also kind of a prophylaxis. So if you're immunocompromised, they're supposed to help with that too. I can't say mine helped, but I can't say they didn't either. Like I took the monoclonal antibodies, and then that evening I got a lot sicker. But I don't know what I would have been like without the monoclonal antibodies, So I don't know that I would take them again, but I don't know that I wouldn't. I hope not to be in that position again, because that would really be the best. But they're designed to try to help keep you out of the hospital. And I did not, by the skin of my teeth, in the grace of God, I did not have to go into the hospital. Instead, I got put under virtual hospital. So, yeah, but you have to, thanks for the correct spelling. You're welcome. I had to double check that. But there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. I understand that one is a shot and the other one is an infusion. And I went the infusion route because I understood that that was the better way to go. And actually, I had it done at a hospital. My husband also took monoclonal antibodies when he got sick, and he had them done at basically an infusion center that was outside of a hospital. Like, I don't mean like outside the building, I mean like different location from the hospital. And here in Tennessee, the monoclonal antibodies, there was no cost for those, but the hospital and the center, you still had a fee from them. So because I had already met my $6,000 out of pocket, the insurance company was picking up at 100%. So I never got a bill from them to know what it is. And my husband's bill is still pending with insurance. So I don't know what his is either. But we went actually two different places. And actually, I got really lucky on having my monoclonal antibodies because I was diagnosed in North Carolina, and they were like, we think you should try this. We think it'll help, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah. So while I was in the office with the doctor, with her telling me about it and telling me that even she thought I should do it, she got an email, and the state was running out of them at the time. So she's like, here are some phone numbers, call. And so I did, like from Raleigh to Western North Carolina. And I called Tennessee trying to get in and all this stuff, and was told, like maybe later next week and stuff like that. And there's a time window that you have to be in so you can take the antibodies, because outside of the window, supposedly they do no good. And I was getting like no, and whatnot. And then the day after I had called and kept getting told no, a hospital called me back, and they were like, can you be here at 12:30? And I'm like, well, it's an hour and 20-minute drive. So I got there because they had unexpectedly had a few spots open up. But then, like I said, I got, okay, that is not cool. Hang on just a second here. So, all right, I just reported. Okay, we've got some people on it. Okay, good. Thank you, Busy. But yeah, that's my thing with the monoclonal antibodies. I got lucky on it. I'm hoping that the state is opened up better now and has them, because like I said, that's been 6 weeks. Okay. Yeah, I'm really fortunate to have been able to stay home. I would definitely not have wanted to go in the hospital for like a ton of reasons. So having virtual hospital was a good deal. Let's see, we have Lorenzo Amrani in. So hi, Lorenzo. Okay, we're not going to have like jokes and stuff like that. I think he is busy. I'm sorry, B lady. He should be gone. I hit the button for him to be hidden from the channel. So if we see more of Mr. Man, we'll know what was up, and I'll try it again. B Lady says, busy. I had the option to report him to YouTube, and I did. Good. I did too. So hopefully that will take care of him being on YouTube at some point. Who knows? B Lady Apiary says, at the Bodacious service doggy. Yeah. Let me give you that. Lorenzo and Ronnie says, I just joined the stream. What are we talking about? Lorenzo, we have been talking about COVID and me being sick with it as a long haul. And now we're going to talk about service dogs because I got an update on that for everybody. So, all right. I'm so excited about this. I heard from the agency this past week about the service dog, and I'll have to be at what's basically doggy boot camp for, let's see, how many days? Hang on. I wrote that down. 9 days and this summer, and I have the dates, and I am so stoked. I have a little over $400 still to pay on the dog, and I've got like so much stuff to get, but this is going to be so cool. There's 3 possible breeds right now, or probable breeds right now. I don't know which one I'm going to get because they have to do some final testing on the dogs for public access and so forth before they will pair a dog with its human. But the 3 breeds that are probabilities that they're looking at using for this class, or they're using them for this class, but there's 3 probabilities for what I'll get. And that is a lab, a labradoodle, or a bernedoodle. And so a labradoodle is a cross between your standard size poodle and a Labrador retriever. And they are so cute. The other one is a cross between between a Bernese mountain dog and a large poodle. So that's actually the largest of the ones. And then the other doodle is a little bit smaller. So they told me to plan for a dog in the 80-ish pound range. And that's awesome. And I'm so stoked. But I'm also like, I don't know which I'm getting. And the 80-pound range is the break between the size of the crate going from a large crate to a larger crate. So, but yeah, so I have to get a crate, 2 blankets, a dog bed, some toys. So I got to do all that and get the money to go out to Kansas and finish paying off the dog and pay off these bills. So I'm kind of freaking out, but I am totally stoked. So that's where I am on the dogs. And I should find out later. I'll be getting a letter, and that'll kind of narrow down a little bit more about what breed of dog I might get. So I am so stoked because I have got to tell you, I have really felt the loss of Tomlin, my previous service dog who passed away. I have really felt his loss acutely while dealing with the COVID because, I mean, I did everything right. I got vaccinated. I wore the mask. I drowned myself in hand sanitizer. We made trips to the distillery to load up on the sanitizer. And I still got COVID because this Omicron went right around all those protections. So, excuse me. So with that, with having the problems breathing, Tomlin was great. He would pick up on my wheezes. I've said before I woke up realizing I was wheezing. He would pick up on that. So he would alert me because he could hear it. And picking things up out of the floor that I couldn't reach, going to get my husband when I was having problems and I couldn't get the air out to yell at my husband. And we have our Google Home Mini, which has been fabulous now that I have my breath back. And I can just yell at, okay, my Google Home. I don't want to say it because my phone will pick up on it. And I can say, call my husband or call Stellar Piper. And it would do that. And so, I would be able to tell them like what I needed, or I can yell at to text, but I have to have the air. Whereas with a service dog, he could physically go and get somebody as long as they were on the end of the house, or he could kind of brace me a little bit, or really not even brace, but really kind of just counterbalance, so I could get into the chair to get up like when I fell. So it will be a relief. I hope to not be going through the brain fog still, but like here in the hotel where I am, I have gotten turned around. I don't want to say completely lost, but I've gotten turned around a few times, and I am consistently going the wrong way out the door and on the hallways. And so with Tomlin, he would be able to get me from the elevator to my room. And like whether I was at college with him or in a hotel, it's like he would remember that. And so, there's just a bunch of things that he would help with. And dealing with the COVID has really shown me the value of having a service dog. I mean, for me, because I have several things wrong anyway. But yeah, so it's going to be a relief on many levels to have a service dog again. So I'm super excited. Let's see. I'm going to get back to the chat here a second. Lorenzo says, my father is double vaccinated and took his booster shot about a month ago, and he got sick from COVID 2 weeks ago. His body feels very weak. Yeah, I get exhausted really easy, but I hope he will get over this soon and he will be okay. B Lady says 3 good choices. Yeah, I'm excited. I talked to someone, and we're talking about service dogs again. I had talked to someone who had a Bernese Mountain Dog, like at the store. She was with her dog, and I was like, "Can I talk to you just a minute?" And she was great. And the service dog, you could tell, obviously was very well trained, and she was telling me about his personality and stuff. So I got very interested in them at that point. So to think about, having a burner doodle, I'm excited. Okay, so let's see. Lorenzo says it's very confusing. Yeah, B Lady says everything about this COVID is confusing. I agree. 80 pounds is a nice size. Yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah, I can give him a preference on male or female, but I told him I really didn't care. I just want a well-trained dog with a happy heart. And they're going to be neutered or spayed anyway. So I don't mind either one. Lorenzo says hand sanitizer won't help. The virus is in our mouths and noses. Says worldwide governments are hiding medicine that can treat early COVID. Let's see. And B Lady says there, hence the mask. Yep. There's something about the virus that mainly triggers people that are overweight. Not so. I've known some people who are pretty skinny who also have COVID right now. And B Lady saying, if you read the news, Fauci and UK leaders, Omicron has more violent, be over in the spring. Yeah. Let's see. Everyone will eventually get it, but if we're overweight or obese, it will be can be disastrous. It can be disastrous for anybody. Yeah, B Lady says True, that's why they suggested everyone drop as much weight as they could. Let's see. Do you really trust, Lorenzo says, do you really trust Fauci and Boris Johnson? They're playing with our minds. B Lady says, who knows, but I believe it's over in the spring. I don't know when it'll be over as far as the pandemic, but it won't be a moment too soon. That's my thoughts anyway. You know, but that does kind of mesh with what I heard. So hopefully it'll work. Hopefully it'll be gone, because it's hung around too long. Of course, and then you wonder, like, what's next down the pike, you know? Let's see. Busy Lady says all we can do is be careful and pray at this point. I agree. B Lady Apiary says, once you are better, do you plan to do craft streams? I noticed on your channel a previous craft stream. Yeah, my daughter, Stellar Piper, actually did that for me. She's good with crafts, and I was down and I was just sick and could not do a live stream. So I was like text messaging her the night before saying, you know, can you be my helper? And so she jumped in and she chose to do a craft live stream. I am looking at trying to do more on my other channel, which has kind of fallen apart since, like, even a little before, I guess, since I started dealing with the breast issue and before I had the partial mastectomy this fall. But so I probably will do some over there and kind of keep this more travel oriented and keep the other channel just kind of more everything oriented. But yeah, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to do another craft live stream on this channel, but just probably the other one. Let's see. And let me type that one in too. So you have, and it's overcoming the obstacles. And I've had different people in talking about their obstacles that they've overcome. And I've done, you know, an episode on cooking and stuff. So crafts, quite possibly. Okay, Lorenzo's saying, did you get the monoclonal antibodies? Please tell us about your experience and what's monoclonal antibodies. Can I give them to my dad? No, they have to be done like at a pharmacy or doctor's office or hospital or center. You can't just do them. Now, some places, like I think in Tennessee, they were doing them through the fire department, and the fire department had taken the training in some places, I think mostly the rural areas. But the antibodies, and I can't remember how they got them, but anyway, you can Google it or Bing it. But the antibodies are designed to help keep you out of the hospital. And like if you're immunosuppressed, they're supposed to help. For me, I don't know if they did or not, because I got the monoclonal antibodies and then it got worse that night. But I don't know what I would have been like if I hadn't gotten the antibodies. So I don't really know what to tell you. My husband did the same thing. He took the antibodies. He got sick later that night too. Just a lot more symptoms, breathing issues, and so forth. So I don't know. And I can't say whether or not I would take them again. But the doctor really encouraged me to do it when I was first diagnosed and really thought it would help. So I don't know. So that's my experience. Yeah, it may be, okay, B Lady's saying it may be that after your surgery, your body was in a low immune place, and that could be why you were hit with COVID so hard. That's actually kind of what we're thinking, because I had a lot going on in this same time period. So I wasn't resting well. I wasn't taking care of myself because I was pretty stressed out when we found um, the mass in my breast. And I was having problems, out of the breast and having the mass. There was a lot of tests, just like boom, boom, boom. Um, I went from having the mammogram to having an MRI within a few days of each other that same week, which led to other tests, which led to the biopsy, which led to another test, which led to seeing the surgeon. And, so there is all of these things going on from like the last of September through October. And I was also trying at this same time period in October, I had announced the auction for the service dog. And so I was doing a lot of stuff for the auction, getting everything listed, the descriptions, the bidding, all that stuff that I had going on with the auction. And then got that done. And into like mid-November, got that done like more the first couple of weeks of November, shipping stuff out and whatnot. Then we went into having a vacation, which was great. That was within a week of, getting everything wrapped up. Then we had a vacation planned. And the night before, this is why we think that something was wrong with my immune system. Literally, the night before we went on vacation, my surgical incision opened up and it looked just as pristine as if it had been 24 hours after surgery. So I was in the ER getting that sewn up. So we know, that's never that's not happened before, that like I had a whole surgical incision open. So we know from that something was wrong with my body's immune system. Then we went on vacation. We had a good time, but like there was a gale warning over there at the Outer Banks where we were on vacation. So it was a really tense like couple of days with that. Then we came back and it was Thanksgiving. We didn't even come back. We were still on vacation with Thanksgiving, where we drove another several hours to meet with Stellar Piper and her husband. Then that following week, after we got back, is when my husband was diagnosed. And like I said, a YouTuber actually pointed out that me being with him put me in what they called a COVID crock pot situation, and where it wasn't just like a one-off exposure, because we still, like in our house, the way our house is set up, yes, we could go on to the other end, but with me and my balance issues and falling and stuff, we had to be where my husband could hear me if I had a problem and stuff. And so we couldn't quarantine as much as we could have if we were like your average couple, or if we had been like a family, or if I'd had a service dog. So even with the masks and wearing the hand sanitizer and stuff, which we started doing like we would if we were going out, yeah, I was still exposed and got it a week after him. So all of that went into, this whammy of being really zapped pretty badly by the COVID. So we know something was up with my immune system going into this. So yeah. Lorenzo says, what medicines did they provide to you? Not much. Most everything was over the counter. Let me see if I can get a link here. I did a video on the cost of COVID, And with that, I did a scan and showed, excuse me, showed some of the things that I was on at that time. Excuse me. Let me get that link for you, and I'm going to pop that down in the description box. There we go. I think this is it. And also in like the video I did on my morning COVID routine, you can actually see me doing some of this stuff. Let me just check. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is probably the best link. There you go. So that can, and I can put that in the description box too. But I was on basically only over-the-counter medicine. So I was on Aleve and Advil and Mucinex and Robitussin and, you know, some of the medicines like that. I was on the inhalers. I had nebulizer solution. I had another inhaler that I was taking, which I forgot the name of. Anyway, it was similar to Advair. So I had that. And then, but what they really pushed was protein. They wanted me on a high protein diet, and where I like wasn't eating much, they told me to use protein shakes. So we got those, and of course Gatorade and everything to stay hydrated with, because my temperature went up. And I had to have a thermometer, a pulse oximeter, things like that, so I could monitor myself at home, because I was under virtual hospital and they would call wanting all that information. The other thing that they stressed was vitamins, and I was already taking vitamin D. I was already taking B complex, and that had with vitamin C. So I was taking B, C, and D, plus it had zinc in it with the vitamin D. But they didn't feel like the vitamin C that I was taking was enough. So they had me go and get an additional 500 milligrams of vitamin C to take, and really pushed like having citrus and so forth. So those are the medicines that they put me on. So, and frankly, the Robitussin didn't help as much as a home remedy did. So let's see. So yeah, I hope that helps. But the link shows everything. Yeah, I think so. Let's see. B Lady says, yep, after my surgery, they told me it would take a long time for my body to recover from this. Yeah, and my surgery wasn't like huge, massive abdominal surgery, so it wasn't really technical from a surgery standpoint. Yeah, so I do think stress definitely weakens the immune system. And B Lady says, at Bodacious in chat, time for me to organize our doggies for the night. So see you all next time. So good night. Thanks for stopping in. I'm really glad to get to talk to you. I hope you have a great night and enjoy your dogs. And let's see, Lorenzo says, thanks for sharing. You're welcome. I'm glad to share, especially if it might help somebody else. So I hope he gets to feeling better. Busy Lady says she is drinking Tazo ginger tea. It helps a lot. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to mention that. I did a lot of ginger tea too. That stuff is wonderful. And I wanted like flavored teas too sometimes. Like even though I'm on this trip, I brought with me my stash of tea. So I've got the English breakfast and stuff because, oh, yeah, something else I did. Hold on. And this Twinings Renew was wonderful. I love this stuff too. And the Constant Comment, which is an orange flavored. Oh, my stars. Okay, I'm getting off topic here. I got to put this back. But yeah, tea is great. Anything with ginger. And I had some ginseng tea that I liked, and I forgot what brand it is. But it was good. But something else I did that I totally forgot to mention is I had double strength, high caffeinated tea. And the reason, and some of y'all may need to check with your doctor on it to see if you're even interested in trying it. It was just regular black tea. I like Tetley, but I also like the Twinings. When my daughter, I wanted something with a lot of caffeine because when my daughter, my youngest one, when she was little, she was really sick. And the doctors actually put her on caffeine. Like they made like some kind of liquid caffeine. And I don't remember the name of it either. But because that's been too long. I can't blame that on COVID fog. But anyway, it was straight caffeine. And I remember them saying that your body converts caffeine into, I think it was theophylline that helped with breathing. So that's why she was put on it. So I remembered that when I was sick. And so I did the double caffeinated tea. And I'm still here, so I think it helped. But I would also put in with that a tea bag of the ginger or slices of ginger or the Constant Comment, something kind of spicy, because I never lost my sense of taste or smell other than like when I was just had the sinus congestion, like you would with a cold. I lost it for like a couple of days, but once that crud cleared up, I was fine. But so to get something that was more flavorful, I put in the spicy tea bags and or the ginger slices, stuff like that. And that was helpful. So it tasted good. It helps. Busy Lady says it helps a lot. And she says, ooh, a stash. Yes. Yes. And I like tea, which helps. I drink a lot of tea anyway, but that was specifically super helpful. Busy, are you putting honey with your tea? Because I thought that helped too. To put in like a couple of teaspoons of honey. It just seemed like that soothed. It seemed like that soothed my throat and made my throat feel better. But I never had a bad sore throat. It was really more kind of scratchy. Nothing major. I mean, I've had strep throat where my throat hurt a lot worse than what it did with COVID. So, yeah. Let's see. Busy says, no, I'm not. I sometimes add honey to my green tea, though. Honey and green tea rock. Just saying. And Lorenzo says, well, thank you for sharing this information with us. God bless, and I will definitely be back on your live. Lorenzo, thank you for hanging out with us. I hope it's helpful. On my lives on Saturday night, sometimes we talk about anything and everything. So even if we're not talking about COVID, I'm still glad to answer questions or offer a supportive ear or whatever. But I really hope that he gets to feeling better. And thank you for coming out. And Busy, green tea and honey are great. And I actually, a couple of times when I started coughing really bad, and it was not time for me to do my next dose of cough medicine, a couple of times I did just straight honey, and that seemed to help. Okay, Lorenzo says, thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming out. So, yeah, a couple of times there I did straight honey and it helped. So oh gosh, I've been on this live stream for 2 hours. It's been pretty cool. But, I tried to do 1 hour and we kind of blew right past that. But it's been pretty cool. Busy, I want to thank you too for helping to take out the trash tonight. That's been super. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and discontinue the little live stream. And Busy, thank you again, so much for all of your help. And if anybody tunes in later, I hope this is helpful. Again, toss in your comments and suggestions for dealing with all of this. So you're a doll, Busy. Thank you. So y'all, take care and have a great night. And I can't believe I'm doing this propped up. But anyway, take care. Have a good night. And as always, hashtag be bodacious. Don't let life get in the way of living. And I'll have a couple of videos, or at least one up later in the week to update on the service dog. And I'll see you Saturday at 7 Eastern. Good night.